Shalom, and welcome to a message for the Parsha, for Parshat Miketz. Today, Friday, the eve of Shabbat Miketz, is actually one of the most special days of the year. Today is the 8th day of Hanukkah. Now, the 8th day of Hanukkah is also called Zot Chanukah, literally meaning this is Hanukkah. Now let me explain why it's called Zot Chanukah, where it gets its name. Throughout the 8 days of Hanukkah, we read a Torah portion, namely the Torah portion which speaks about the inauguration of the original temple, the original tabernacle in the desert, the sanctuary they built for Hashem. Now, because Hanukkah was a rededication of the second temple, after having been defiled by the Assyrian Greeks who came in and defiled it. Therefore, every day throughout we read the Torah portion, that is, which speaks about the inauguration and the offerings of the leaders of the tribes on the 12 days of inauguration. On the final day of Hanukkah, we read the final portion, which concludes with the words, Zot Chanukah HaMizbeach. This is the dedication of the altar, of the new altar. But this is where it gets its name. However, the Rebbe points out that we know that everything is in a name. So it's not just the Torah reading that gives this name, this day, the name Zot Chanukah, this is Chanukah. Because we don't always find a significant day in the calendar being called in accordance with its Torah reading. Rather, it tells us that Zot, this day, this final day of Hanukkah is Hanukkah, is the essence of Hanukkah. So let me try to explain that and go into the importance of the day. You see, everything in this natural world runs in cycles of 7. In other words, the number 7 is connected to what we call the realm of nature. Teva, nature. What is nature? Nature is godliness as Hashem chose to conceal it within the realms, within the workings, within the gears that turn of nature. The number 8 represents a power which is above, which is beyond, which supersedes nature. Give you an example. When does a baby boy receive his circumcision? Which is his connection to Hashem. Not only his spiritual connection, but even in the flesh, becomes connected for the rest of his life to the Almighty. That only happens on the 8th day, and on. Why is that? That's not a coincidence. That's because that connection is a supernatural connection. It's a connection which could not be hindered in any way, cannot be altered in any way by anything or nothing in this worldly, natural phenomena. There's nothing that can come in between the connection of a Jew and Hashem. That is supernatural. And that's why the Jewish baby has his bris on the 8th day. That's why the Torah directs us to do it so. Likewise, every time we find something in connection with miracle, it typically has the number 8 involved. Even the holiest day of the week is still within the realm of nature, albeit the highest point of nature, but still within the realm. And that is the number 7, the 7th day of the week, the holy day of Shabbat. But 8, that is beyond. And that explains why Hanukkah is celebrated as 8 days. Whereas if you look at the Torah, even the greatest of festivals like Passover and Sukkot were originally 7 days. Even they do not reach the heights, the greatness of Hanukkah. And the point is Zot Chanukah. This day brings out the essence of Hanukkah. This day has the power, the full-fledged power of the entire Hanukkah. Every day of Hanukkah is special. Every day of Hanukkah has a special power of the supernatural. But on this day, it all comes out in the open. In fact, the holy Baal Shem Tov said that on this day, that is the day the last day of Chanukah, Zot Chanukah, even a simple Jew, a regular average Jew, has the strength, has the power, has the spiritual resources to accomplish and to bring down blessing on the same level that a tzaddik has on the holiest days of the year, like Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur. In fact, it's brought down that the absolute sealing of the documents, so to speak, the stamping, if you ever purchased a property, you know it's not only the signing, but there are stamps, right, that go with it. The actual stamping of all the documents from Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah, the good blessings for the year, actually happen today on the last day of Chanukah. So I invite you, I encourage you to make this day very special. Of course, with prayer, with mitzvot, but most importantly, with doing something good for something else, doing something supernatural, above and beyond, to help someone else. And certainly you and I and all of us will see the materialization of the supernatural blessings that will come about because and through this very special day, and your special deeds, your supernatural, above and beyond goodness and kindness. And may Hashem help that the ultimate blessing comes, the ultimate supernatural thing that we really, really need the most, and that is the coming of Mashiach, when the world, even in its natural state, will continuously and all the time experience the supernatural. Shabbat Shalom and good news to all.